Okay. All right. I'm gonna try and see. I am trying to be committed to getting to be a better Facebook Live person here. All right. Okay. All right. So first thing I need to do is turn that volume down. Okay. Good morning, everyone. How are you? Yeah, that's what I like. I like a little bit of the energy. Okay, so as you know, we're going to start out the show with 60 seconds of gratitude. I've got a pretty interesting show for you this morning. A little bit of real life examples and stories that I run into that apply for us. But we'll start out with 60 seconds of gratitude. Cameron, what do you got?
Man, I've said this before, but I'm just grateful for people with experience around me that I'm able to learn from every day.
Yeah, okay. All right, Josh, what are you thankful for besides that little loving thing you got right there?
Squirrel. I am thankful that I'm able to come in here. I'm thankful that you're able to come in here and teach me about this new thing called absorption rates.
Yes, absorption rates is what we've been going over. That's how exciting things are this morning. Boy, talking about absorption rates. But actually, it is pretty interesting,
Yeah,
isn't it?
no, I had no idea. I'm glad that you know, so that way now I know.
Yeah, so just for everyone out there, we're sitting around this morning, we're talking about absorption rates. And absorption rate is a measure of how much inventory there is available on the market. So the way we derive that figure is we take the available properties, and it's interesting because we were just looking at this this morning. The absorption rate from yesterday to today actually shortened by a few basis points. So what does that mean? Well, it means that the inventory still, it may have been that there was a little soft spot in the rate. So you can see in the data how sensitive that gets, because if you're tracking it daily, then you can see where if 30 days ago rates softened just a little bit, you'll see that absorption rate tick down. And it's really wild to see it happen that quick and that fast. Emily, what are you thankful for this morning?
Today I'm grateful for a job that keeps me busy.
Ah.
Keeps me full of thoughts.
You know, it's really interesting you should bring that up, because our show this morning, the topic is that career advice is life advice. So it's very interesting that you're thankful for that this morning. That is on topic. Yes, all right. Travis, what are you thankful for this morning?
That we all get to be a kid again and go skating tonight.
Hell yeah.
Oh, nice, nice. How long has it been since you've been skating?
Some years with the kids. I've taken the kids a few times, but
Yeah.
I ain't really got to put them on and get down and dirty like we are tonight.
Yeah. Are you gonna be
skate race?
you gonna be the guy going backwards and all that? Yeah. Well, now that the fight's over, you don't have to worry about injury, right?
Oh yeah, that's right.
All right. Well, good morning. Everybody that's here is already in. Lorena, good morning to you. Okay, so let's get right into the show. The show topic for today, and the show topic is career advice is life advice. So it's brought to the forefront for me a couple of things that I wanted to share with everybody this morning, and a lot of it has to do with remembering that it's super important. I would say is the most important thing to work on who you are more than what you do. All right, would you agree with that? Yeah. So it's easy to say, oh yes, but then when you're faced with career advice, when you're faced with different decisions that life brings to you, then it's easy to forget that and very quickly get lost in thought and get lost in the mechanics of life and get into what you do more than who you are, right? So the other thing I wanted to ask is, do you believe that thoughts are things? Do you believe thoughts are things?
Yes.
Cameron, you look like you're not sure. So Cameron's a not sure. All right, Josh, yes.
Absolutely.
You absolutely think thoughts are things. Now, why would you think that? Why? What makes you say that so certainly?
I'm a big believer of what you focus on. What you are thinking all the time, doesn't matter what it is. It helps out to become present.
Okay, that is true. That still is not quite exactly a thought being a thing, an actual thing. So Cameron, why do you not think that thoughts are things?
Because part of me feels like a thought is just a thought until it's been put into action, which makes it a thing.
So what created the thought?
A situation that had probably happened to you.
So the situation that happens to you creates what? The thought.
Right.
So the thought is the thing that just got created.
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay?
I see where you're coming from.
Right? So why does this become important and why is this relevant? And I understand that it's tough to think about thoughts being things, but if you'll go through the exercise, I think you'll see where it sort of starts to come into play a little bit as a focal point. I happen to believe that thoughts are actual things. And part of that is tough to get your mind around because, for example, do you remember, when you would get up and go catch the school bus when you were a kid, or, so you can remember in your mind right now going and catching the school bus, you can see yourself standing there and you can see yourself getting on that bus, right? Well, where is that bus?
It's not there yet.
It's on its way.
It's vivid in your mind. It's there. You can recall it. You can bring it back 2 months from now and say, oh, yes, where's that bus? And you can bring it to the forefront of your mind. But that does not actually exist anymore in the plane that we're in, right? So that's where, when you start to think about thoughts as things, you start to apply it to the different things that are happening in your life. So then you ask yourself, what does this have to do with career advice and with life advice? Well, I wanted to share a quick story with you. I was recently talking with a young person, a recent graduate. She will be unnamed at this point, but we were having a conversation. She's in my extended family and in my family, and so she was asking me about careers and those kinds of things, and I was asking her some questions. She's a recent high school graduate, trying to find out kind of where she wants to fit in life. And I said, well, what do you want to do? She said, well, I have an option to maybe be a 911 operator. That's an option. And I was like, wow, right. I was thinking to myself, I am not mentally strong enough to be a 911 operator. Could you be a 911 operator?
Probably not.
Where's Tommy Davidson? I wonder if Tommy, could you imagine if Tommy is your 911 operator? Where's, he would coach you right.
I didn't even know that was something that people thought of.
Right.
Too.
Is that not really, to me, that would be just,
I've never heard anybody say that they wanted that job.
yeah,
That was
yeah.
really shocking.
Yeah, Noah's out there. Hey, Noah, thanks for getting on here. Let us know if you could be a good 911 operator, man. To me, that would be a tough job. But I asked her what else she may be interested in, and she said, well, I'm thinking about maybe being in nursing or in the medical field. And so another person that was there with us said, well, you should go and you could get a job at the hospital and you could find out the different departments and you could kind of work your way through the situation and get to a point where you feel like you've found a direction. So I'm talking with her, and right now she's not currently doing anything. Right now she's just graduated high school trying to figure out what she wants to do. So it occurred to me that what she was saying she wanted and what the jobs were that she was describing, there was something in those connections that she needed to uncover. So I asked her, I said, it seems to me like you want to do jobs. Why do you want to do these jobs? And she said, well, I want to do the jobs because I want to make an impact. I want to be helpful. I said, oh, okay. So is it important what you do or who you are? She said, well, it's important who you are. And I was like, yeah, that's exactly right. Why is that? Well, that's because who you are is never changing. Who you are is constant. What you do can change. So the way this gets applied is in talking with this young person about how she's going to move forward in life and in her career. She said that she wanted to help people. So I told her what she should consider is the fact that right now she can do that even if she doesn't have that job that she thinks she may get. She doesn't know if she's going to like to be a 911 operator or a nurse, but that's not the most important thing. The most important thing is right now, her desire to be helpful, her desire to make an impact is available to her right now. She is putting conditions on the world. Hey, I'll only be helpful if I have a job. I'll only get to make an impact if ... Those things are not true. The universe doesn't care if you're a nurse or a 911 operator or a realtor or anything else. The only job that you have is to let life continue to unfold and manifest through you. And all of the things that happen in your life are the things that are continuing to make you who you are. You have to focus on being who you are, which is a good steward of the life that you've been given. And then you'll see the other things start to unfold. So let's go back to today's topic, which is life advice is career advice. And think about thoughts being things. Okay, so everybody in this room and probably a lot of the people that are watching are in real estate. So that's one area that we just know to kind of pull from. So if you are thinking to yourself, okay, I've decided I want to ply my craft as a realtor, and that's the profession that I'm going to have. What do you do within that to be the type of person, to be who you are within that? So, for example, if you say to yourself, I want to be the kind of person who can take no for an answer, or take constructive criticism, or follow through, or be on time, or take the extra step to make sure that everybody that I'm working with gets the very best service available. All of those sorts of things, that's who you are. That is your commitment to who you are. What you do is real estate. So you have to always try to ask yourself, is what I'm doing to work on who I am matching up with what I'm doing? Okay? So then think about thoughts being things. So if you're saying to yourself, well, I'm trying to find out how to help find people, match people with houses, and people I'm trying to find that are looking for houses, or they're looking to sell houses, those kinds of things. So if you could imagine, for the last 5 minutes of the show, we're going to walk through just a quick exercise, just a quick exercise about thoughts and being things. So if you're a customer out there, or your customer is out there somewhere, and they decide, hey, I want to buy a house this fall, right? So what's the first thing that happens with that person? What's the first thing that happens?
Probably go online and look at houses.
Before that,
They think about it.
they think about it. Okay? So if you are sitting here and you say to yourself, okay, I'm looking out over my landscape, and if you think about little thought bubbles popping up, right, above everybody's head, first, that would be really wild, right? I mean, you think Facebook feeds are interesting. If you could literally just see thought bubbles popping up, it would be pretty interesting. But if you can think about,
Yeah, I would.
what's that?
Everyone would hate each other.
I'd get in a lot of trouble.
You think you'd get in a lot of trouble if all your thoughts just popped up in a little bubble? That's a great show topic, isn't it? What if you could, now let me ask you this. If you were to give thought bubbles, that'd be interesting. To have somebody, like if I'm sitting here with you, if your thoughts were popping up in a bubble, but before that, I put the thoughts up in a bubble next to it that I thought you were thinking, that would be pretty interesting how different they would be probably, right? I'm thinking, Josh is thinking, I'm just killing it. And Josh is thinking, I cannot wait to get out of here, man. This is killing me. Anyway,
Really cool.
maybe. It would be instructive for sure. But so you have all these people out here, and they think, hey, we would like to buy a house in the fall. So then, bing, a little picture of a house pops up above their head, right? And that's what they're thinking. So that thought has now become a thing. So now, if you are thinking to yourself, hey, I am an outstanding choice for someone who needs help shepherding themselves through the process of buying a home, right? So then, bing, above your head pops up that thought or that vision of you being a realtor, which you are, there, ready, willing, and able to help. So if you think about the thoughts that you're putting up as a tuner, and everybody else's thoughts are out there, and if you're sending out the signal that says, hey, for everybody that's out there that's thinking about buying a house, I'm tuning in. I'm tuning in, and so that you can now hear that message. Those energies start to vibrate together. So if you were to close 10 deals next month, right, that's going to be great. That'd be wonderful. Hey, I closed 10 deals. That's great. I met my goals, whatever the case may be. But I think you should probably spend some time thinking about where those 10 deals originated from. And if you go back to the beginning of those 10 deals, what happened is somewhere along the way in all of your thoughts, all of your movements, all of your processes, you sent a signal to that person that you were there to help. So, right? So they're over here thinking, I'd like to buy a house in the fall. And you're over here thinking, you know what? I'm going to find out what the absorption rate is in my county. I'm going to get friendly with finance. I'm going to make sure that I uncover every stone to help anybody that's interested in buying a house. And I'm going to make sure that I'm ready, willing, and able, educated, trained, knowledgeable. I want a house. I want a house. I want a house. And then they find each other because the energies are out there resonating. What are the chances that somebody is resonating the energy, I'd like to buy a house, and they end up buying a purse? Not very good. Now some people may go buy a boat instead of a house, and they don't qualify anymore. That's a different story. But my point is, think about those thoughts, understand that thoughts are things, and then understand that your primary responsibility is to work on who you are, not what you do. So, for example, if they come out and they make real estate sales and real estate brokerage illegal, then what does that mean? Are you all of a sudden not of value? Have you all of a sudden now lost your character traits that are the ones that point you in the direction of what to do every day? No. Don't get lost in what you do. Do get lost in who you are. Okay? So let's take just a couple of minutes before we finish the show. We'll go through our Power 5. I'm going to cut it down just a little bit. But first thing is, look within and ask yourself, what thought bubble is popping up? What thought bubble is popping up? Am I transmitting a signal that says I'm ready to help? So think about that that signal that you're putting up. That thought is a thing. And then ask yourself why that's important. You're the only one that can answer that question. Ask yourself why that's important. I think it's important because thoughts are things and things guide my daily actions. Okay? They have to be in line. When they're not, things don't go well. When they are, then we can make progress. Next, become the silent observer. I want you to step back. I want you to elevate yourself above Rutherford County, above your market, and then just see all the thoughts that are popping up everywhere. Be the silent observer. Tune in to those thoughts and imagine your thoughts and your energy as like a radio tower. And it's sending out a signal to all those little houses that are above people's heads and they need help. Okay? And you'll be attracting those to you. Next, I want you to accept your current situation in all ways. If what you are doing and who you are inside are in conflict, you need to accept that right now, and that's the only way that you're going to be able to find resolution. And until you do find resolution, your results are not going to be in line with your best efforts. Okay? And then be present. So once you've done those things, we're going to take about 30 seconds. I want you to think about those thoughts that you're sending out. What is the signal that you're asking to be sent? Are you looking for the signals? Are you a good receptor for those signals? If I'm not looking to help people with houses, then how am I going to find those people to help? So be present with where you're at with your thoughts. Focus on who you are inside and think about all the people that are out there sending you a signal. All they need is for you to respond. Have a great day. Take care.